Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hyperconscious Podcast. Alan, what is hyperconscious?
Once you understand why something is the way that it is, now you have the power to change it. Great conversations with great people and great questions are the keys to the kingdom of unlocking your consciousness.
Every single action that you do starts as a thought. When you control the way you think, you will control the way you act, and you will control the way you live. That is hyperconscious. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hyperconscious Podcast is proudly sponsored by our friend and mentor, David Meltzer of the Playbook Podcast. He was kind enough to join us on episode 144 and 135.
Folks, it has become Kevin and I's mission in life to help you realize that the life of your dreams is right on the other side of you becoming the greatest version of yourself. Let us help you do that.
I rarely do these things twice in such a short amount of time, but you guys impress me. I believe in people that provide value and of our service. You two guys are on your way to huge fulfillment, purpose, and profitability, and I look forward to helping you both.
We appreciate that more than you know. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of the Hyperconscious Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode live and in person from Malibu with the one and only Dr. Nikki Starr. Today, for episode number 247, we are going to do a 5-minute clinic on not letting your circumstances dictate your future.
So before we jump into this episode, you know what I'm going to ask? Ask and attract.
Some would say.
I'm going to ask you to go to the hyperconsciouspodcast.com, and I'm going to attract you to the website, to then click on join #HyperConsciousNation. Folks, if you do not feel supported in your goals and dreams, it is holding you back more than you realize. When I look back at my younger self, that was one of the biggest bottlenecks that I just didn't know any different. And now that we have such a supportive team and dream team and beyond, it has changed the game for us.
And if you are looking to either take your fitness game to the next level or get rid of your limiting beliefs, which we're going to talk a little bit about today, Alan and I both have a couple spots open for fitness/mindset coaching. Reach out to us if you want to make 2020 your best year ever.
Yes. Don't let your circumstances stop your success. Your future? Oh, I butchered it. You know what it is? The mic is in the way.
It's going to be, don't let your circumstances dictate your future.
Perfect.
Stop your future.
Same thing.
So the reason we're going to do a little bit of a different episode today, it's still going to be 5 minutes. We're going to hammer it. But one of the takeaways that Alan and I took away from Mass Maritime was it's not always the questions you ask yourself, because I think we all are capable of asking really good questions. But if you don't answer the questions honestly, openly, authentically, then the questions don't even matter.
So what are some questions people should ask?
I think the most important question is, what circumstances am I allowing currently? What circumstances am I allowing to dictate my future? Maybe it's a limiting belief. Maybe it's something that happened in your past. Maybe it's your parents. Maybe it's a relationship. For me, it was, for a lot of the time, it was my height. The circumstance of me being short affected a lot in my life. Genuinely, that was something that I struggled with for a long time. But will your life change? This is what happens. If your circumstances don't change and you're so focused on them, your life will never change. You'll literally be stuck in the same place forever until your circumstances change. So that's the biggest takeaway, the biggest question that I would ask you if you were here in front of Alan and myself, if you were in the studio with us, is if your circumstances never changed, would your life?
While I was listening to you, I had a moment.
Didn't even set the timer.
Happy Monday, folks. So, you have to be completely dissatisfied with what is in order to make a shift. So, like, for example, I always go back to this. When the pain is great enough, you will make a change. Right now, I need a haircut.
Same.
Okay. Why haven't we gotten one?
I like my hair long.
Okay. I would argue that we haven't gotten one because it hasn't gotten uncomfortable enough to have long hair yet. It's like, have you ever gotten a haircut and then been like, oh, why didn't I do that sooner?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time.
The reason you didn't do it sooner is because you put it off until it was too painful to have that long a hair. And I think that in order to make a shift in yourself where you make a real decision of, I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. Like, I'm done being broke. I'm done being in this bad relationship. I'm done being out of shape. It's feedback. You get all the feedback, and eventually the pain gets great enough where you say, that's it, I'm changing. And I really think that one of the questions you should ask yourself is, where am I avoiding the feedback in my life? Are you avoiding mirrors because you don't like that you haven't been going to the gym or that you've been eating poorly? Are you avoiding that hard talk with your significant other because you know the truth that you haven't been stepping up? Are you avoiding the bank account because you know your cash flow isn't on point, or because you know you're spending more than you should? Wherever you're avoiding feedback is most likely the arena that you're making the least progress in, and it's probably bothering you more than you realize. So go face that feedback and then do something about it, because otherwise nothing's going to change.
And it's like a lot of times, and I've been guilty of this too, you'll use your circumstances as the reason things aren't going well, so you don't have to change anything.
Right.
It's like, well, this is just the way things are right now because, I have a family, right? Or I didn't go to college, or I don't have a car. Like, whatever your circumstances are, if you don't admit that they're just circumstances, if you allow them to be your reality, then that is what your reality is going to reflect. Every movie you've ever seen probably started with somebody who had terrible circumstances.
Yeah, tragedy.
Tragedy. I watched The Pursuit of Happiness last night
Right.
with Taryn, and it was like, that dude had every single reason to quit.
I know.
Like,
Powerful movie.
Powerful. I cried 2 times.
Really?
Yes. Oh, yeah, dude, that's
Especially at the end.
That is my... No, and the biggest dude, when he's
In the bathroom.
in the bathroom.
Right.
Oh, my God.
I
Oh,
know.
my God. That's
Will
everything.
Smith is such an incredible actor.
He seems like an incredible human, too.
Right.
So, but I think that, like, that guy had every reason. Only one person out of 20 gets through the, what's it called?
Internship.
The internship.
And it's
you're-
unpaid.
It's unpaid. You're
And-
not even guaranteed a job. And he
has
did
to
it.
take care of his son the
And
whole
he has
time.
to take care of his son, and they're living in a homeless shelter. Like, he had every single reason not to make it. And that could be your story, too.
Right.
I told Alan this, along the way when I've had different, not tragedies, but just low points, I literally say, like, this is going to be an awesome part of my story. And that, does it fix things? No, but it helps you realize, like, every single person had these. Every single person that you look up to most likely had some times where they didn't know if they were going to make it, where their circumstances were so bad they didn't know if they could keep going.
Last question. The timer just went off. I want to ask Kevin this question. And for all the listeners out there, this is a very important episode. I want all of you to ask yourself this question too, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to ask myself this question and really answer it and sit with the answer no matter how painful it is. Where in your life right now have you been tolerating something from yourself that is holding you back?
Yeah. That's a tough one.
If you want to answer it.
That's a tough one. Finances. I haven't made finances a priority.
Right.
A priority. And
Same.
until you get that kick in the face of, like, good enough isn't enough,
Right.
then you're not going to change. You're not going to change. So for you, like, if you're going to bed at night, just imagine this. If you're going to bed at night, like, not kissing your partner on the cheek or on the lips or saying I love you, you're just rolling over, tucking in and going to bed. You're probably not happy there.
Right.
And whatever the circumstances are, maybe you guys are broke. Maybe you guys have a child who is getting in trouble. Maybe your house is having problems. Maybe your cars are having problems. Maybe neither of you are happy at work. If you allow those circumstances to control your relationship, you will get the result of your circumstance, and you won't be able to fight through that. You got to team up, and that's another thing. Talk to people about what you're going through.
Totally.
Talk to
I
people.
encourage you to go talk to someone you trust and care about. Here's the thing. You can't fix a problem until you acknowledge there is one and take ownership for the fact that you're part in it. So, like, I agree with Kevin. Like, where am I tolerating low standards for myself that needs to change if I want the future to change for myself and those I care about and beyond? Finances for me too. So now that you acknowledge that and sit with that and it hurts, what are we going to do about it? The only wrong answer, once you acknowledge there's a problem, is to sit back and remain the same. Now it's time to focus on the solution. That's what Kevin and I did right before this episode. That's what we want you to do with someone you trust.
Ladies and gentlemen, answer those questions, although they are difficult. Sometimes the most difficult questions give the best answers, which will change our lives. Up next, that was butchered. We are going to do a small talks episode on the word comparison. I think with social media is important. Not important. As widespread as it is,
Right.
as widely used as it is, people are always falling into the comparison trap. Instagram is actually going to get rid of likes, and that is one of the reasons why.
Here's the thing about comparison. You're probably comparing to someone else's highlight reel, and that's not the truth. One of the things we want to do on this show is pull back the curtain on what's real, not only within ourselves, but with our guests. The highlight reels of social media is affecting you. Be very careful of that. That's what this episode's about, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this, and we will talk to you on Wednesday.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.